Part 88. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 871. The latest chapter of the Wanchaiwu I Created is updated the fastest. They were shocked that Lin Yi could see clearly the power of each of them. And they couldn't even touch the glass of wine sent by the other party. They couldn't see clearly what the other party's power was. In the first confrontation, they were defeated cleanly and there was no room for recovery. The faces of the 8 people suddenly looked bad. They were all outstanding in the outer level. Although they were not the top, they could be regarded as above the middle level, especially in this meteor base. They have experienced countless things in their lives. But they have never seen an existence like Lin Yi. At this time, Lin Yi waved his hand slightly. Please drink, everyone. This is a fine wine specially prepared for you. Looking at the smiling face on Lin Yi's face, everyone felt like beating him up. King Jinling suddenly laughed, ha ha ha, I've heard that the wine of Wanchaiwu is the best in Meteor Base. Today is a good time to taste it. After saying that, he raised the wine glass and drank it. A sharp golden air rushed into his body, making him, who had not tasted the taste of food for a long time, regain the feeling of flesh and blood. Seeing King Jinling drink Lin Yi's wine, the other 7 people also raised their glasses and drank it. After drinking, their faces were slightly strange. These wines made them feel endless aftertaste. With that, more greed rose in their hearts. Looking at Lin Yi with sharp eyes. The wine is finished, I don't know what you want to see me for today. Just now it was just a test. Lin Yi won a game, and then he directly made everything clear. There was no intention to dawdle with them. King Jinling showed a faint smile on his face. This time, I asked Manager Lin to come here because I have something to ask. Well, what do you want to ask? I heard that Manager Lin seems to have a door that can easily connect to other worlds. I don't know, but is it true? Lin Yi smiled faintly. So what if it's true? What if it's not true? He looked at King Jinling with a half smile on his face. King Jinling looked indifferent. We brothers have discussed it and want to borrow Manager Lin's treasure. There is also a treasure in Manager Lin's hand that can increase his talent. We also want to buy it with some coins. The price? It's about 10,000 time world coins. I think Manager Lin won't refuse. King Jinling said, and a terrifying aura instantly filled the entire 3-story restaurant. Not only him, the other 7 people present also showed their momentum. This momentum directly rose to hundreds of times that when Lin Yi went upstairs just now. This is really taking out all the strength. At this moment, the entire time and space seemed to solidify. Everyone in the entire restaurant, except for the 8 of them. All life and all matter have been locked. From matter, energy, time, space, soul, all-round suppression in 5 aspects. If it is an ordinary outsider, there is absolutely no luck in facing this kind of suppression, and you can only close your eyes and wait for death. But for Lin Yi, this is just a drizzle. At this time, Lin Yi smiled slightly, raised his hand casually, picked up his wine glass and drank it in one gulp. No. Just 2 simple words broke the momentum of the 8 people. The pupils of the 8 people shrank, and they found that their full momentum could not restrict Lin Yi's actions at all. It even had no effect on the opponent, which was very terrifying. Their move this time was not simple, the entire restaurant was actually a huge treasure. This is a strange treasure called the 3 Treasures Hall. The function of this treasure is very simple, that is, to seal all the lives that are targeted inside. The power of the 3 Treasures Hall is very huge. Legend has it that it can even seal the stars and the world, as long as the user is strong enough. Even this treasure itself is connected to the 5 principles. This is a thing specially used to deal with the strong, but the premise is that you have to lead the strong into the 3 Treasures Hall. This treasure has always been the trump card in the hands of King Jinling, and the number of times it has been used is few and far between. And every time it is calculated without intention. Every time he uses the three treasures hall, he has never failed. As long as the opponent is deceived by his sweet words, there is absolutely no way out. The extremely terrifying power burst out and instantly covered Lin Yi. This is a power mixed with the 5 innate rules. Block all the power characteristics in this world. Even the acquired principles are included. Get cash red envelopes. You can get cash for reading books. Follow the WeChat public account Book Friends Base Camp, cash/points are waiting for you. The 5 kinds of power merged into one, turning into a grey power, as if it had turned into the most primitive chaos. In just a moment, Lin Yi was enveloped by this grey power. At this moment, he seemed to have lost his freedom and became a fish that could be slaughtered at will. He could feel that all the immortal power in his body was blocked. He couldn't activate any of his innate abilities because this grey power blocked everything. In essence, this grey power is like real chaos, even higher than the chaotic vitality and fairy light in his body. The other 8 people at the table looked at Lin Yi with a smile, and their power was injected into their feet, pushing the power of the 3 treasures hall. King Jinling looked proud, although I don't know what kind of power you have mastered. That's why we returned empty-handed. But this 3 treasures hall is known to seal everything, even the eternal level will be suppressed. No matter how strong your power is, you can't escape the constraints of the 5 innate rules. Now you have lost. Now it's time for us to reap the fruits. At this time, his eyes looked at the Nightmare King. Daio Nightmare King, it's up to you next. Dig out all his secrets from his dreams. The Nightmare King, he now looks like a young man with colorful eyes, and his appearance is the same as that of a human, but he doesn't have the temperament of anyone. A cold smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Of course there is no problem. I will do my best to dig out all his secrets. With a strange smile, a dreamlike, smoke-like power enveloped Lin Yi. Facing their step-by-step pressure, Lin Yi's face was very calm, not even a trace of panic. With a faint smile on his face, that's all. Hearing Lin Yi's words, everyone was slightly stunned, and the Nightmare King who was taking action also paused. They looked at Lin Yi, and King Jinling said proudly, "Why, are you not convinced?" The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 872. If you don't accept it, just struggle. King Jinling's eyes were full of contempt. In his eyes, Lin Yi was just a lamb to be slaughtered. But what happened in the next moment shocked all of them. Lin Yi stood up from his seat and walked out of the range of the grey glow. This power seemed to have no restraining effect on him at all. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. At this moment, everyone was stunned. Then, an incomparable chill rose from their hearts. King Jinling was the one who suffered the most. His eyes widened and he felt incredible. Because of the blockade of the 3 treasures hall, he had never encountered such a thing. At this time, Lin Yi looked at them quietly with a faint smile on his face. If you can only produce this level of power, I'm afraid you will all stay here today. A chill rose from everyone's heart, and they felt the threat of death. At this time, Lin Yi had already stepped in front of King Jinling. A light palm slapped his head. King Jinling didn't care about anything else at this time, and a dazzling golden light burst out from his body. A sword energy that seemed to cut the world burst out from his hand and slashed towards Lin Yi who was coming towards him. This sword tore the sky and split the earth, and it contained a powerful sword intent. This sword energy is not only composed of energy, but also has a material structure and a powerful sword intent, a soul-level power extended from the soul. Facing this sword, Lin Yi still did not dodge or avoid, and let this sword pierce him. Things that shocked everyone continued to happen. This sword had no effect and directly passed through Lin Yi's body, as if it passed through the air. Lin Yi always seems to not exist in the real world. Lin Yi's hand has reached the top of King Jinling's head. King Jinling was furious. Although his sword was ineffective, he was not discouraged. He never believed that there was anyone in the world who could receive his sword energy without any damage. He raised his hand and punched Lin Yi's palm like a fighting Buddha. This punch destroyed time and space, shattered Lingshan, and seemed to turn the world upside down. But it was still meaningless. The fist passed through Lin Yi's palm and body without leaving any trace. At this time, Lin Yi's palm gently fell on King Jinling's head. A grey force exploded in an instant. It exploded with a dull sound like Mars hitting the earth. King Jinling was knocked to the ground by a palm. However, his body was too hard. Although he was hit by Lin Yi's palm, he was not seriously injured. He was just dizzy and sparks flew. At this time, the other 7 people at the table retreated violently. Lin Yi's ability frightened them. They had never encountered such an enemy. They saw King Jinling's 2 counterattacks just now. Even if they wanted to take it, it would not be easy. But Lin Yi in front of them was unharmed, and it even had no effect on him. Although it was unbelievable, they had to face the reality. At this time, King Jinling roared with boundless anger. "Damn it, how dare you! Go to hell!" At this time, King Jinling was slapped to the ground in public, and boundless anger burst out from his heart. The power that was violent to the extreme turned him into a golden god of war. In an instant, it was like a sonic boom. He appeared directly in front of Lin Yi, and a golden light blasted out from his hand, covering Lin Yi. With continuous attacks, his fist swung thousands of times in an instant. Every time, countless golden lights burst out, completely submerging Lin Yi. At this time, the 3 treasures hall exuded a hazy glow, and all the impacts were bound to this layer and could not be vented. The violent attack of King Jinling seemed to make the space in the 3 treasures hall unable to bear it. The explosion of this force caused the space to begin to twist and break. Li Wuji and the other 7 people had retreated to the other side at the moment when King Jinling exploded. The violent King Jinling seemed to want to explode all his anger. His wings behind him had already spread, and endless spiritual energy gathered from the void. It flowed into his decoration, then into his body, and finally gushed out from his fists. At this time, thousands of fist shadows gathered in front of him, and seemed to have turned into a wonderful pattern. A burst of sound from the dark sounded. Jinayu. The cultivation civilization where King Jinling is located, a peerless martial art. Jinayu. It is composed of thousands of fist lights, gathered into a supreme divine symbol, with the ability to suppress all time and space, matter, energy, and soul. No matter how powerful you are, as long as you are covered by this divine symbol, you will definitely be suppressed. In an instant, this divine symbol covered the front of King Jinling, where Lin Yi was. This divine talisman is not a simple plane, but a 3-dimensional structure. At this time, a figure appeared in this divine talisman. It was Lin Yi. Under the pressure of countless fist winds, he did not suffer any damage, and he was still calm and composed. Seeing that he was unharmed, everyone was shocked. However, seeing that the divine talisman of the prison completely covered him, King Jinling breathed a sigh of relief. As long as you are covered by this divine talisman, you will never be able to get out. He raised his hand and lightly touched the divine talisman, and the divine talisman suddenly began to shrink. But something that surprised him still happened. The divine talisman directly passed through Lin Yi's body and shrank into a ball of crystal light, but it never touched Lin Yi himself. Seeing this scene, King Jinling's heart suddenly sank. This was one of his unique moves, but it was useless. His invincible heart seemed to be shaken. He couldn't believe that there was such an existence in this world. King Jinling gritted his teeth. "I don't believe it." At this time, Lin Yi did not hit him, but just looked at him calmly. "If you don't believe it, you can try again." With a smile on his face, and a trace of inexplicable light flashing in his eyes. Okay. The next moment, King Jinling opened his hands directly, and countless golden runes emerged from his body. Then, these countless golden runes all flowed to his right hand. It can be seen with the naked eye that his right hand is slowly changing and turning into a golden sword. This sharp sword is crystal clear, like crystal, pure. It is filled with an unprecedented mysterious atmosphere, as if it has a taste of eternal immortality. Immortal golden sword, cut through time and space. A mysterious sound of Taoism sounded in everyone's heart. At this moment, as if it resonated with the void, the Golden Spirit King and the sword merged into one, and in a flash, they appeared in front of Lin Yi. A sword stabbed at him. This sword was so fast that it was unimaginable. In a flash, the tip of the sword had pierced Lin Yi. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 873. The latest chapter of the Wanchai I Created is updated the fastest. An eternal breath of destruction erupted in Lin Yi's body. But this breath still could not break Lin Yi's boundless destiny. It's just that the consumption of spiritual waves has increased. In Lin Yi's eyes, the brilliance of the true destiny solution kept flickering. He had seen a ray of eternal breath in the sword. That was the principle of matter, and this principle seemed to have a new extension. It seemed that matter should dominate energy, time, and space, and soul. This is a new and alternative eternal principle, using matter to accommodate the other four innate principles. And this has formed a prototype, and it seems that there is a possibility of success, although it is only 1 in a billion. But this is the road to eternity. At least there is a direction to move forward, and it is no longer a headless fly. King Jinling watched himself pierce Lin Yi with a sword, and the endless golden light submerged Lin Yi. But in his perception, Lin Yi was the same as before, without any damage. A cold will exploded in his heart. You still only have this much power, I'm really disappointed. In the endless golden light, Lin Yi's hand appeared in front of King Jinling in an instant. He pointed at his forehead with one finger, and the chaotic power burst out in an instant. King Jinling flew out directly as if hit by a truck. He hit the wall in the 3 treasures hall heavily. There was a slight dent in his forehead, but the golden light exploded from his body. The obvious dent recovered in an instant. Lin Yi frowned slightly, and the attacks of these people had no effect on him. But his attack could not kill King Jinling in front of him. The opponent's body was too hard, like a compressed neutron star, and the density reached an unimaginable level. Bang! King Jinling fell from the wall and looked at Lin Yi with a very ugly face. Just now, he almost used his highest mystery, but still couldn't hurt the man in front of him. The opponent's power was so mysterious that he had never encountered it in countless years of roaming the void. Thinking of this, his face became more gloomy. At this point, things can't be resolved peacefully. At this time, the other 7 people came to the side of King Jinling. They didn't attack just now, but it doesn't mean they are timid. It's just that they found that their attacks might not work on the people in front of them. As long as they can't break Lin Yi's state, any attack is meaningless. Li Wuji from the Evil Spirit Academy said, "What should we do now? This man's power is too weird, and we can't touch him at all. Even the power of time and space can't stop your attack just now. It's impolite not to return the favor, and it's my turn to do it next." Lin Yi's mouth rose with a cold smile. His eyes gently swept over the 8 people in front. King Jinling can't be killed for the time being, but others may not be. Seeing Lin Yi's eyes sweeping towards them, except for King Jinling, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. But they were not afraid. Wu Ji suddenly took out a strange coin from his hand in the Evil Spirit Academy. His spirit was communicating with others at the same time. Miracle coin, left by the ancient gods countless times ago. The power of my coin is instant death. If I use it, you have to compensate me after this war. Including King Jinling, everyone else looked at Li Wuji. Miracle coin, that is the biggest secret in the void. Legend has it that this miracle coin contains the secret of the ancient gods. Miracle coins, each one is unique. Once used, it will disappear, and then appear again one day in the future. Legend has it that there are 1001 series of miracle coins, each series ranges from 1 to 999, involving all aspects. Some of the effects are amazing, and some actually don't have much effect. But legend has it that among these 1001 series of coins, there is a set of coins leading to eternity. Once collected successfully, you can get a secret of eternity and truly step into the realm of eternity. This is something that countless people are collecting. Countless people want eternity, but there are almost no people who can really step into this level. Eternity is like a legend, existing in countless stories, but never in reality. There are countless cultivation methods in the void, and the eternity pursued by powerful beings is still like flowers in the mirror and the moon in the water. You can only see it, but you can never touch it. No matter what kind of cultivation method, even if it is claimed to be able to lead to eternity. But the person who can really get through has never appeared. All cultivation methods are just claims. And among these 1001 series of coins, there is a series that truly leads to eternity, so any miracle coin is a supreme treasure. Seeing Li Wuji take out the mysterious coin, Lin Yi slowly stopped. Because this coin surprised him very much. His true destiny solution can analyze everything, but when he saw this coin. But he found that he could not see through this coin. In an instant, a large amount of spiritual waves were injected into the true destiny solution, and the power of analysis increased thousands of times in an instant. Then he saw a strange power, or a brand new rule. A rule that was completely outside the 5 principles of the void, and a rule that was completely equal to them. But what he could see was only the surface, and this power was filled in this strange coin. And deeper down, there seemed to be something else hidden. Get a red envelope cash or point red envelopes have been issued to your account. Follow the WeChat public account book Friends Base Camp to receive it. Lin Yi's face was slightly surprised, and Li Wuji and the others seemed to have reached an agreement. Li Wuji pointed the coin at Lin Yi, and then he gently let go. The coin began to collapse the moment it fell, turning into a mysterious fine sand. Then, countless fine sands disappeared in a strange breeze. Lin Yi felt a terrifying death coming towards him. This was a death that went straight to the essence. Even if the true destiny was opened, Lin Yi felt a hint of death. The next moment, he felt that his spiritual waves were being consumed at an alarming rate. In the first second, his spiritual wave consumed 1/10. In the second, only 2/3 remained. After the third second, only 1/5 remained. His mind knew in an instant that if there was only one more second, he would die under this power of death. But fortunately, in just 3 seconds, this power of death was exhausted. The premonition of death disappeared in an instant, and Lin Yi's face showed a trace of solemnity. In all these years, this was the first time he faced death, and death was so close to him. If this power was a little stronger, he would probably have to choose to die once with the true immortality. Use the true immortality to come back to life and consume the death power of this coin. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 874. The latest chapter of the Wanchai Wu I Created is updated the fastest. At this time, the faces of Li Wuji and the other 8 people changed drastically. Their faces were full of disbelief. They clearly felt that a force of death enveloped Lin Yi. The power of death was consumed drastically, causing Lin Yi in front of him to be in a mysterious distortion and fluctuation. But in the end, when the power of death was exhausted, it still did not kill Lin Yi in front of him. This scene completely shocked everyone. Li Wuji was even more unbelievable. He took out the 109th series of miracle coins, known as the instant death coin in the death series. This coin has appeared many times in distant times, and each time it appeared, it caused the fall of an extremely powerful existence. In historical records, only a few people have escaped the death coin. Each of them is a supreme overlord, and their reputation resounds throughout the void. And they all escaped death through miracle coins. In an instant, they raised the threat level of Lin Yi to the overlord level. Led by King Jinling, they all knew that they might have kicked the iron plate. Lin Yi looked at them quietly. It's a wonderful power. It makes me feel the threat of death. But it's a pity, that's all it can do. If you don't have a trump card, then it's my turn to take action next. A cold smile appeared at the corner of Lin Yi's mouth, full of endless murderous intent. A grey-white sword slowly appeared in his right hand. This is the top-level magic weapon he made himself, which can carry his chaotic fairy energy and turn it into extremely compressed sword energy to cut everything. This sword itself involves the 5 innate principles, so it can withstand the chaotic fairy energy in his body. And the reason for all this is that the sword itself is made of special materials. And this special material is the treasure of the universe, as the core of this sword. This sword is also a weapon that he has made recently and is exclusive to him. Now it appears in this world for the first time, accompanied by his chaotic fairy light pouring into it. Everything around the sword began to distort, time and space, energy, matter, and soul were all broken, and a grey scene enveloped the entire sword. An extremely dangerous aura enveloped King Jinling and the other 8 people in an instant. They felt the breath of death coming towards them. Their eyes saw the sword in Lin Yi's hand, which was the sword that could bring them death. Everyone's heart was raised to the extreme. King Jinling and the other 8 people did not dare to be arrogant at all, and they burst out their strongest power in an instant. Although Lin Yi made them feel very dangerous, they still wanted to give it a try. At their level, their own power was completely controlled, and there was no such thing as waste. King Jinling stepped on the ground, and the sky and the earth were dark in an instant, and the sun and the moon were dark. The restaurant where they were seemed to have turned into a dark world. The true appearance of the 3 treasures hall was revealed. It was originally a huge space-type magic weapon, which was self-contained inside. In the darkness, 8 figures attacked Lin Yi. A hazy power appeared from the darkness and enveloped Lin Yi in an instant. This was a wonderful power that seemed to pull his mind into an infinite dream. Once he sinks into it, he will lose himself forever. But the true destiny perseverance and the true destiny boundless have already been activated at the same time. This power can't find Lin Yi's heart at all, nor can it have any effect on him. This is the power of the Nightmare King, the power of dreams. An evil and weird voice sounded in Lin Yi's ears. It seemed to be the recitation of all the evil in the world, implanted in the mind, as if to make his mind dark, and finally fall to death. Li Wuji of the Evil Spirit Academy's attack method is very weird. Use this evil hymn to directly attack the soul will. A huge black palm appeared out of thin air and grabbed Lin Yi, like the hand of death, to pull him into the abyss of death. A very evil demon light fell from the top of his head, completely covering Lin Yi, as if to smash him to pieces. One after another golden swords attacked from below, each of which was filled with a faint breath of eternity. Attacks from all directions came from 8 outsiders. In just a moment, Lin Yi felt that his spiritual waves had been consumed in large quantities. His eyes narrowed slightly. Sure enough, we can't underestimate these strong men in the void. Attacks from all sides cover almost all aspects. As long as there is a weakness, there is no doubt that he will die. We can't continue to entangle with them. I also understand their methods almost. Thinking of this, Lin Yi looked around and locked his first target. With a flash of his feet, he passed through all the attacks in an instant. All forces could not stop his steps. Even time and space were directly passed through by him. He penetrated the darkness and came to a wonderful space, where there was a man holding a black book and reciting. Countless evil and grand poems kept ringing in Lin Yi's mind, tempting him to fall with all his strength. Li Wuji, an evil monk from the Evil Spirit Academy. The reason why Lin Yi found him was first because he was a human being. Secondly, he is easier to kill, unlike King Jinling, whose body is strong and difficult to kill in an instant. Looking at Lin Yi, who suddenly appeared in this space, Li Wuji's hair stood up, and he felt the breath of death. The other party was coming specifically for him. Without any hesitation, a force flashed. Then Li Wuji disappeared into the darkness, and Lin Yi frowned. Running so fast. However, his true destiny and Taoism observed everything and had already captured the traces of King Jinling and the other 8 people. They each had an independent space in the Sanbeo Hall, and everyone could move freely. Then they launched various attacks on Lin Yi, and they themselves would not be exposed to Lin Yi at all. This is completely a kite-flying tactic, and they are in an absolutely safe area. The time, place, and people are all on the other side. If it were an ordinary person, he would have been killed long ago, but unfortunately they were facing Lin Yi. A sneer flashed across Lin Yi's mouth. With a flash of his feet, he had already walked in one direction. In the true destiny, all time and space stretched on him. Everything that wanted to stop him disappeared automatically. The next moment, he was already standing on the street of the Crescent Meteorite Base. The sword in his right hand slashed towards the restaurant in front of him. This sword seemed to pierce through time and space, and instantly slashed on the restaurant. Although the restaurant is a space of its own, it has a huge space and time, and a magnificent energy. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 875. Lin Yi's sword was extraordinary. It was made of the treasures of the universe. Each sword contained 5 great principles and was incredibly destructive. The shell of the hotel shattered, revealing a silver palace inside. The sword light slashed the roof of the silver palace. The chaotic light madly hit the roof of the silver palace, causing it to spread countless cracks. A huge ball of light burst out from the palace. It lifted up Lin Yi's sword light. The next moment, the silver palace suddenly shrank and disappeared from the spot, leaving only an empty space. Lin Yi's sword light swung directly into the air and was about to slash the ground. However, Lin Yi's power was naturally flexible. The sword light flashed and naturally shattered. He didn't want to destroy the Crescent Meteor Base. The big boss behind it was not simple. He had already explored the entire base through the True Destiny solution. The owner behind the base was the most powerful person he had ever seen. Whether it was energy or the 5 innate principles that permeated his body, they were all incredibly profound. At this time, 8 figures flashed in the open space, and King Jinling and others looked at Lin Yi in shock and anger. The opponent's power was too strange. No matter what kind of attack blockade, it could not have the slightest effect on Lin Yi. This kind of power was something they had never experienced before, and now they were a little bit stuck. Although their power was stronger than Lin Yi, they could not hurt him. Lin Yi looked at them calmly and walked towards them step by step. On the sword in his hand, the hazy gray-white light kept flashing, destroying the stability of all time and space. King Jinling was also beating his heart when he looked at the sword. On that sword, he felt the power that could kill him. At this time, a huge forbidden method emerged in the entire Crescent base. The violent power instantly imprisoned everyone in the base. Lin Yi stopped at this time, although this power had no effect on him. But he already knew that this was the big boss behind the base who finally took action. A figure made of light appeared between him and the Golden Spirit King and his men. "Stop, you have already failed. No fighting is allowed in the New Moon base." A 1,000-faced figure looked at the Golden Spirit King and his men calmly. The Golden Spirit King and his men looked gloomy, but the Lord of Wisdom showed up, which meant that the other party didn't want them to continue. And if they continued to fight, they were not sure they could defeat Lin Yi. So far, all their attacks were ineffective against Lin Yi. From magic weapons, their own strength, and even the legendary miracle coins, nothing worked. At this moment, Lin Yi looked at the Lord of Wisdom, who suddenly appeared calmly. "You make it very difficult for me. These people want to kill me, and I want to kill them now. Do you want to stop me?" The Lord of Wisdom looked at Lin Yi calmly. "They want to kill you, so they are wrong first. But I don't allow violence in my crescent base. Once you leave the base, it doesn't matter how you fight. But they attacked you first, follow my rules here. You can claim compensation from them. Let them pay the compensation you want. If they don't give it, then all their property in the base will be directly transferred to your name as compensation." Lin Yi's eyebrows jumped slightly when he heard this. He thought about it and looked at King Jinling and his men. "Okay." The Lord of Wisdom looked at King Jinling and his men. "This one has agreed, what about you?" King Jinling's face was gloomy, and the thoughts of several people communicated in the void. This time they were considered to be in trouble. Stealing a chicken but losing a rice. Finally, King Jinling said, "Okay, we can compensate him." The Lord of Wisdom looked at Lin Yi. "What do you want?" A faint smile appeared on the corner of Lin Yi's mouth. "I want each of you to give me a coin you just used." Hearing Lin Yi's words, Li Wuji's face changed and blurted out, "You are dreaming. You think miracle coins are cabbages." King Jinling also looked indifferent, wishful thinking. "You ask for a high price and pay it back low, you can bargain," the Lord of Wisdom said calmly. The Lord of Wisdom spoke and suppressed the anger of King Jinling and others. "You can discuss it and then bargain. If you really can't reach an agreement, then trouble you to go outside the base to settle this matter." The Lord of Wisdom looked indifferent, and countless expressions on his face were changing. Lin Yi looked at this man, the creator of the crescent base, with some strangeness. As long as everyone who has been in the base knows his name. But the people who have really seen him are very rare. Only those who are truly strong in the outer realm are qualified to see him. When King Jinling and his companions heard the words of the Lord of Wisdom, they were slightly depressed. They had already clearly experienced the horror of Lin Yi in the previous fight. That was a power system completely different from theirs, and they couldn't even find any flaws. They tried their best but couldn't touch him, even using miracle coins. Although the miracle coins did work, they could all feel that Lin Yi's body was slightly trembling at that time. But in the end, the miracle coins did not achieve the effect they wanted. Lin Yi remained intact under the power of the miracle coins. Miracle coins possess unimaginable power. It is a power that is separated from the 5 innate principles and is extremely mysterious. Legend has it that it was made by the ancient gods in the distant era and before the infinite time. Legend has it that these coins contain countless secrets, and eternity is just one of the countless secrets. Countless people are collecting these coins, trying to find their secrets. Miracle coins are more precious than anything else in this world. Lin Yi asked for 8 coins at a time, and King Jinling and his men were naturally furious. But facing the mysterious Lin Yi, they did lose this time. If they continue to fight, it is hard to say whether they can turn the tide. In the end, it is not certain that they will even die. Thinking of this, they took a deep breath and began to seriously think about the words of the Lord of Wisdom. About a few minutes later, their discussion seemed to have a result. King Jinling took a deep breath, looked at Lin Yi and said slowly, "Here, I can give you 2 miracle coins. More is impossible. At worst, we can go out and start a war. We can't kill you, and we're leaving, and no one can stop us. Although you have extraordinary power, we really can't do anything to you. But it's not that easy for you to kill us." Lin Yi frowned slightly when he heard what King Jinling said. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 876. This is indeed a troublesome matter. These people in front of him have more or less mastered various means. If they are in a closed area, Lin Yi is confident that he can kill all these people one by one. But if they are outside, the situation is hard to say. The void is random. As long as they want to run, he can only lock and kill one at most. If they want to leave, they can't be stopped. Thinking of this, out of curiosity about the miracle coins, he has aroused great interest in his heart. It has even suppressed the murderous intent against these people. 3. I want 3 miracle coins. If it is lower than this number, then we will start a war. Although I can't kill all of you, I can at least kill one person, there is absolutely no problem. If you don't believe it, you can bet that you won't be the one who dies. As he said, Lin Yi's face was covered with cold murderous intent. Hearing Lin Yi's words, the 8 Jinling Wangs all jumped slightly in their hearts. Especially Li Wuji from the Evil Spirit Academy. He is a human monk. Among the 8 people now, his ability to save his life can be said to be the worst. Because he is a flesh and blood body after all, although he can be reborn. There are still other means left, but Lin Yi in front of him feels very dangerous. Especially the sword in his hand, which naturally has 5 innate rules. It is a big killer no matter how you look at it. He dare not bet that his means can block the power of this big killer. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. At this time, the faces of the Jinling King and several others also changed slightly, and they communicated with each other. In the end, they reached an agreement. 3 miracle coins, okay. This matter ends here. Lin Yi had a faint smile on his face, okay. In the end, under the auspices of the Lord of Wisdom, the 8 Jinling Kings used 3 miracle coins to exchange for the end of the whole thing. This battle also let everyone in the entire New Moon base know that Lin Yi, the store manager of Wanchaiwu, is a real giant and should not be easily provoked. The result was the rapid rise of the Wanchaiwu and the rapid expansion of bounty hunters. A large number of people with ideas came to the Wanchaiwu, and even those who only had the energy level of the ghost immortal Dao came to accept some simple bounties. At the same time, the Wanchaiwu also began to connect with various worlds every night, looking for various people who were willing to pay a price in exchange for help. Various materials, talents, lifespans, and wealth flowed into the Wanchaiwu, and at the same time flowed out of the Wanchaiwu through contribution points. Under the auspices of Lin Yi, the value difference of various items was controlled, ensuring that the Wanchaiwu began to generate a lot of income. More and more treasures were accumulated, and a few months passed in a blink of an eye. The Wanchaiwu had completely taken root in the New Moon base. It has completely become a brand new force in the New Moon base and has been welcomed by countless middle and lower level people. Because there are quite a lot of exchange items in the Wanchaiwu that they need, but they can never buy. Among them, talent is the most exciting to them, whether it is physical talent or spiritual talent, it is the most popular among them. Because these talents can improve their cultivation essence, so that they can go further and further on the road of cultivation. Lin Yi's talents involve all aspects, and some talents are useless for some races. But some talents are crucial for some races. This has caused all the tasks of the Wanchaiwu to be in short supply. But the Wanchaiwu basically only releases dozens of tasks every day. This greatly limits everyone's enthusiasm, and many people who didn't grab the tasks are beating their chests and regretting. At this time, the Wanchaiwu also launched a new second system. That is, people in the Crescent base can also post tasks in the Wanchaiwu. However, the rewards for their tasks are paid by the task issuers themselves, and the Wanchaiwu takes 5% of them as handling fees. However, These rewards are not as attractive as contribution points, but some people are willing to take these tasks. In general, the Wanchaiwa gradually formed its own set of rules with two systems. During this period of time, Lin Yi also completed the cultivation of the tribulation of all things. Relying on the cultivation systems of countless other worlds and the analytical ability of the true destiny Daoji, his understanding of matter has once again risen to a higher level. Thus, he completed the cultivation of the heavenly immortal Dao of all things. He also gained a brand new harvest. That is, the talents that were released outside have finally reached the harvest season. One after another, the contractors who sublimated their perfect talents to Dao marks began to fulfill their contracts under the power of the Wish Shrine. One after another, the acquired Dao marks of the nearly perfect level were incorporated into Lin Yi's Dao mark system. At this time, his Dao mark system has nearly 500 Dao marks, of which 365 are very large and perfect. A strange change is taking place in the spiritual world of the Blue Star clone. Hundreds of Dao marks appeared here, 365 of which are as big as a fist, and the rest are very small, only the size of a finger. At this time, these Dao marks are rapidly establishing connections to form a brand new Dao mark system. These Dao marks involve all aspects, and contain countless knowledge, from music, painting, science, music, etc. Covering almost all human arts, sciences, philosophy, and other subjects. Countless information is constantly circulating in Daohen. Gradually, all Daohen systems turn into information flow. And this information flow is constantly evolving in the spiritual world of Blue Star's clone. A hazy prototype of the world appeared somewhere, a world of information like a chicken. Hazy, it seems that there are countless things evolving inside. This is the prototype of the Hushin Daohen world, a world completely imagined by humans. At this time, majestic spiritual energy surged out from this world. Lin Yi's Blue Star clone had undergone tremendous changes. The power of the soul turned into a faint light in his hands. The power of this group of souls is so miraculous that it seems to be able to evolve into anything in the world and contains huge power. The most important thing is that it can change reality and change it according to the principles of the Daohen world. At this moment, he held a cup in his hand, and the power of his soul enveloped the cup. The cup kept changing in his thoughts. After a while, the cup turned into countless broken crystals. After a while, the cup suddenly became a living thing. It has arms and legs, and there are eyes and a mouth on the cup. Just like the goblins in fairy tales. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 877. This little fairy was shaking her head and doing radio gymnastics on Lin Yi's hand, and she was also shouting 123. 123, radio gymnastics. Hey ha hey. This little fairy was swaying left and right. At this time, it was given a new life by Lin Yi, and even had its own wisdom. All this was so magical. Absinthe on the side saw the scene and showed surprise in his eyes. What is this? It's so magical. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. The power of the mind changes everything. As long as the mind thinks it exists, it exists. If the mind thinks it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. This is the most powerful part of the Blue Star martial arts system. Among the countless civilization systems I have obtained, no civilization can do this. This is a true void creation, a means like the Creator God. Lin Yi showed a faint smile on his face. He waved his hand casually, and the goblin landed on the table in front of him. The goblin stood on the table, swaying left and right, still doing radio gymnastics. Because the information Lin Yi input into it only contained information about radio gymnastics. Other than that, it didn't know anything else. At this moment, the goblin's body froze, and its hands and feet were quickly retracted into the cup. Then the eyes, nose, and mouth on the cup disappeared one by one. In just a few seconds, the goblin-like thing turned back into a cup. Sakuramiya surely on the side saw it clearly. This is repaired by the rules of the real world. Yes, this little goblin is caused by the distortion of reality by the power of the mind. When the power of the mind disappears, everything will return to the state of reality. The world will not allow distortion to exist. The power of Blue Star is profound, but it has not yet developed to its peak. You must also practice this power well. It has infinite potential, and it is not even worse than the practice of immortals. In the future, we will take on more people who are willing to exchange their talents for wishes. These talents can help you condense more Deo marks, which is a road to heaven. At this time, Lin Yi's Blue Star clone was connected to the spiritual level through the prototype of the world. Indistinctly, he felt that his consciousness seemed to see the spiritual level. It was pitch black there, and only his mind was still shining. Can you see the spiritual level? If the Deo Mark universe is really completed, can the consciousness merge with the Deo Mark universe and truly enter the spiritual level? To achieve the eternal realm. A brand new way. Lin Yi fell into deep thought. At this time, a clamor suddenly sounded in the crescent base. This sound disrupted Lin Yi's thinking. Outside the French window, a large number of people appeared on the street, and they seemed to be heading towards the city center. Seeing this scene, Lin Yi showed a hint of surprise in his eyes. He walked out of the door of the Wanchaiwu in a few steps and followed in the direction they were heading. Soon everyone came to the center of the base. There was a high platform, on which several people in special uniforms appeared. Their races were completely different, but the clothes they wore were the same. Lin Yi had seen this kind of uniform in the Void City. That was the uniform that only people from the Void Fate Committee in the Void City would wear. Seeing these people coming to the Crescent Base, Lin Yi's eyes showed a gleam of light. What are they going to do? There were 3 people on the stage, one of whom seemed to be the leader, and the other 2 stood behind him, seemingly his subordinates. The leader was not a human, but a man with snake hair. Exactly the same as a member of the team that Lin Yi had rescued in the strange land. A huge idea came to everyone's mind. Everyone, this time the ancient god ruins of the Void Destiny Committee will be conducted by me. Many people should know that a new void wormhole has been discovered. According to some preliminary exploration information, this is the ancient god ruins of a distant era. There may be miracle coins and ancient god creations in it. The Void City has issued a call for development to all the strong in the Void. Let's dig for the treasure of the ancient god ruins together. Those who want to participate in the development can sign up here. Next, I hope everyone will abide by the order and don't make trouble and cut in line. Then the call for registration will start now. As the registration began, a crowd of people surged. Lin Yi just watched. He had heard about the ancient god ruins in the past few days. The bounty hunters in the tavern talked about the latest news circulating in the void every day. So he was not short of sources of information. The ancient gods were the most mysterious and ancient existence in the void. It's just that they have disappeared for countless years. Legend has it that the infinite void was created by them. Maybe they are not invincible, but they have a unique power. It is completely different from the power of the 5 major rules. It is the power of true creation and destruction. Legend has it that the 5 major rules were created by them. Although this statement has been scoffed at by countless people, since it is said so, there is a certain root. It is said that some ancient god ruins do not have the innate 5 major rules, and the innate 5 major rules seem to be directly excluded in the ruins. Some people say that only the existence that can create the 5 major rules can create power other than the 5 major rules. The ancient god ruins are in a place that cannot be described in words. It seems to exist in the void, but it seems not to exist. The existence of the ancient gods is indescribable, and there is no specific form. Only the ruins remain in this world. Legend has it that in ancient times, a huge disaster occurred. This disaster was so severe that even the ancient gods could not resist it. The final result is that the ancient gods disappeared from this world. Only the infinite dark void and scattered world groups are left. There are also ancient god ruins in secret places, and strange places everywhere. All of this is full of mysteries. There is a reason why the Void Destiny Committee recruited strong men in the Void to open up the ancient god ruins together. First of all, the ancient ruins contain the power of the ancient gods. After entering there, all power systems will change. Even the composition of life will change. And these two changes will produce a strange phenomenon. The weak may suddenly become very strong, and the strong may suddenly become very weak, and the body will change into another form and structure. Of course, it does not mean that the strong will definitely become weak and the weak will definitely become strong. There is a probability problem in between. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 878. Secondly, if you want to get something in the ruins of the ancient gods, it seems to be related to luck. Luck is a very general term. Some people say that it is a certain inevitable result of the 5 major rules combined in a living body and the interaction with the world. A very mysterious thing that cannot be explained, but it does exist. In the ruins of the ancient gods, people with luck often have huge gains. And luck is something that cannot be measured, so the Void Fate Committee cannot monopolize the ruins of the ancient gods. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Even if they monopolize it, they may not get anything within a limited time. Because the appearance of the ruins of the ancient gods is time limited. Most of them will not exceed half a month of void days. In order to discover more things from the ruins of the ancient gods in the shortest time, casting a wide net is the best way. As long as the contract is signed, the Void City will naturally get a considerable amount of benefits from the ruins of the ancient gods. The reason why the Void Fate Committee attaches so much importance to the exploration of the ancient god ruins is that in addition to the miracle coins and the harvest of various ancient god creations, the most important point is that there may be a way to completely solve the strange place in the ancient god ruins. Because in the currently known world group, most of the effective forces against the weirdness all come from the ancient god ruins. So every exploration of the ancient god ruins will attract the attention of the entire void. Anyone who can come will never let it go, even if they pay a huge price, they will not give up. And this time, Lin Yi is also very interested in the exploration. He cares very much about this legendary ancient god. Because he found that part of the power in the miracle coin has something to do with the power of the mind. It should be said that it is a higher quality power of the mind. Just like the spiritual wave produced by the true destiny, a higher quality product of the mind. But that is only part of the power in the miracle coin. There is also a part of the power that Lin Yi has never seen before. The 3 miracle coins he got are not very powerful in themselves, but they are very wonderful. The effect of the first coin is 50% probability. Its function is that when the user wants to do something, as long as this coin is used, there is a 50% chance of success. For example, originally facing a situation of certain death, there is no hope, but as long as this coin is used, something will definitely happen, resulting in a 50% decrease in the probability of death. At the critical moment, the moment of despair, this coin will be very useful. The second coin, absolute flying. No matter what kind of scene, as long as you use this coin, you can fly, and the flying time is 1 hour. The third coin, the charm of the alien race. After using this coin, this person will get unlimited charm, but this charm is only useful for creatures of alien races. These 3 coins seem to have no great use except for the 50% probability. But there has always been a saying in the void. There are only useless people, no useless miracle coins. There are many kinds of miracle coins, and there are countless legends about them. The most important one is that it is said that all miracle coins are prepared for a certain moment. When that moment comes, the coin will play its true role. And when the miracle coin plays its true role, it will disappear forever and never reappear. It seems that the ancient gods have already predetermined the future, and each coin has its true role moment. Before that moment comes, even if the coin is used, the future will continue to appear at a certain moment. Only when the necessary moment comes, the miracle coin is used, triggering a real miracle and completing the impossible, will its mission end. This is why the miracle coin is called a miracle. In the dark, it seems that there is a big hand controlling the fate of all beings. Among the 1001 sets of miracle coins, there are at least more than 300 coins that have never appeared after being used and have triggered miracle events. The effect of the most recent coin was used on the chairman of the Void Destiny Committee. The chairman of the Void Destiny Committee is said to be the only one in the entire void who is closest to eternity. He is a Taoist monk who has reached the final true spirit tribulation, and it seems that he is only half a step away from completing it completely. He achieved the half-step eternal level by relying on a miracle coin, which helped him survive a crucial soul tribulation and reverse a fatal tribulation. It is said that there are several important levels in practicing the true spirit tribulation. Once all these levels are completed, one can break through the true spirit tribulation and completely enter the eternal level. And now the chairman of the Void Fate Committee has completed this last level. The reason why he was able to complete this last level was because of a mysterious miracle coin. It brought him an incomparable miracle. And after using this miracle coin, a wonderful vision broke out. That vision is exactly what will happen when the miracle coin is used at the right time, as if the entire void is cheering. And this also means that the miracle coin will disappear from the world forever. The events and legends triggered by the disappearance of all miracle coins will have a profound impact on the future of the entire void. There is also a saying that when all miracle coins have completed their missions, the void seems to have reached the crossroads of fate. A huge event will happen that affects the entire void and countless world groups. There are too many stories and legends about miracle coins, so anyone who has the ability will collect miracle coins crazily. Various information about miracle coins flashed through his mind. Lin Yi did not go to the recruitment station to sign up in the end, but turned back to the Wanchaiwu. Although he was very interested in miracle coins, he did not want to get involved in such a dangerous operation. The Wanchaiwu is booming, and a steady stream of wealth has flowed into his pocket. The Wanwuja has been cultivated, and the Daohan world has completed the prototype of the world. Everything is moving in a good direction, and he doesn't need to take risks. Waiting steadily, using time to accumulate enough wealth and resources to promote his cultivation, this is one of his original intentions for establishing the Wanchaiwu. Back to the Wanchaiwu, it has become much colder inside. Only the old people in the Wanchaiwu were still busy, or relaxing with tea and rest. They basically maintained the same plan as Lin Yi, and did not intend to interfere in anything in this world. At least until they were strong enough, the Wanchaiwu could help them obtain enough resources. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 879. Many of the resources that can be redeemed through contribution points in the Everything House are things that are not available in the void. As long as it was an actual item that existed in the void, Lin Yi would rarely exchange it for it. Scarcity is the core and source of Wanchaiwu's strong appeal. Returning to his position from the outside, Lin Yi had a scripture in his hand. He was reading it carefully. It was a personal notebook about the cultivation of immortality. Lin Yi has purchased a lot of these things recently, because these cultivation experiences can help him see the future clearly. These handwritten notes are all of the Immortal Dao level and contain the Immortal Dao monk's understanding of the 5 major rules of the world. At this time, Lin Yi had already begun to prepare to practice void tribulation. He found that the crystal card he obtained from Ren Wudi could allow him to better understand the power of space. Combined with these notes and the secrets of space contained in the sword made from the treasures of the universe, he gained a deeper and deeper understanding of space in 3 different directions. Void tribulation is not easy to cultivate. The power of space is unpredictable and involves all aspects. He felt that it was impossible to completely master space, because the mysteries of space were almost endless, and there were endless changes at every moment. Therefore, the immortal monks settled for the next best thing. After understanding the mysteries of space to a certain extent, they allowed the true spirit to have the ability to withstand space damage, and gradually improved the characteristics of the true spirit's immunity to space. As for completely mastering space, that's impossible. However, if you want to be immune to space forces, you must first understand specifically what kind of space forces can cause harm to true spirits. Only then can this damage be used to stimulate the true spirit. At this time, 2 kinds of wonderful Dao marks had appeared in Lin Yi's true spirit. They are extremely perfect, like crystals, forming 2 different forms, integrated into every corner of the true spirit, like a network. It can be said that the true spirit is this Dao mark, and the Dao mark is the true spirit. Both kinds of traces overlapped on the true spirit, as if they were one, but they were distinct. Next, he will guide the power of space to wash away the true spirit. However, this process will be very slow, so you must be cautious in everything and rely on the self-healing ability of the true spirit to control the speed. There was peace in the All Things house. The crescent base was filled with joy, and countless people were signing up to participate in this exploration of the ancient gods' ruins. They all want to get something from the ruins of the ancient gods. After all, after entering the ruins of the ancient gods, your strength and body will change, and no one knows who is who. Although when you leave, you have to pay a huge tax based on the items you get, but compared with the harvest, it is definitely worth it. It's not impossible that what you get inside can make people fly into the sky. The excitement didn't last long and ended after about a few hours. Those who signed up for the recruitment task also went home. At this time, the Wanchi room became lively again. Countless discussions continued. This time, I must achieve something. The last time was 500 void years ago. I will never miss it this time. A blue-skinned humanoid creature with only one eye laughed excitedly. Haha, who isn't? Anyone who enters has unlimited possibilities. As long as I can find a good thing, it can completely change our lives. A foreign man with a beard all over his face and a pair of pointed ears said with hope on his face. Everyone fell into an inexplicable carnival atmosphere. On this day, the consumption of drinks in the Wanchaiwa room skyrocketed. Lin Yi quietly looked at the enthusiasm of these people, and his heart moved slightly. It seems that this ancient god's ruins really attract them. Should I go there? Looking at these eager people, Lin Yi was still slightly moved. In the city of the void, in a room of a building, a figure was talking to a mirror in front of him. Sir, everything has been arranged. The ruins of the ancient gods have made them crazy. This time the Void Destiny Committee will send a large number of people to enter. Well done. The next step is to wait quietly. Let's see where they lead. The secrets of the ancient gods must belong to us. Only we are qualified to master the power of the ancient gods. Continue to monitor and report anything to me at any time. Yes, sir. In the mirror, there is a man wearing a black robe with a pale mask on his face. There is a strange number on the mask, which seems to represent the number 13. Deepest underground in the city of Void, there is a huge mysterious space. This space seems to be a small world, densely built with countless giant metal pillars. These giant pillars crisscrossed each other, connecting the sky and the earth, connecting the upper and lower parts of the space, and finally gathered in the center. Countless densely packed figures shuttled through these buildings. You can feel that this space seems to contain infinite power. This seems to be the real core of the Void City. At this time, in the center of this space, where the giant pillars meet, there is a strange huge metal platform. In the center of the platform is a huge palace with an area of at least hundreds of thousands of meters. In the center of the palace, in a wonderful palace, sat a phantom that seemed to have existed for eternity. His back was so tall that the moment he saw him, it was as if he saw the universe itself, eternal and unchanging. Seeing him was like seeing eternity, mysterious and unpredictable. At this time, in front of this figure, a man in white clothes with white wings on his back appeared. This was obviously not a human. There was a mysterious golden pattern between his eyebrows, and his whole body exuded a white and glorious aura. President, the call for the ancient god ruins has been completed. The Void Destiny Committee, as well as the small gathering places around, there are about 10 million strong people in this world group participating in this call. All personnel have been registered, and the official departure time is scheduled after 3 void days. After 9 void days, we will arrive at the void wormhole where the ancient god ruins are located. This eternal man seems to be the president of the Void Destiny Membership Association. After listening to the report of the holy man, an invisible will slowly sounded. Angus, I have a bad feeling about this exploration. Without affecting the front line, take my warrant and ask the Lord of the Asgard and the Lord of the Soul to come. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Xuanhuan Luan Tianji. Chapter 880. The winged man called Angus was shocked. He raised his head and looked at the president in front of him, saying incredulously, President, is it really necessary to dispatch the counselors? Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. My premonition has never been wrong. I can feel that there is some kind of power that has blocked my sight and prevented me from seeing the future. So it is necessary to dispatch the counselors to resolve the possible dangers. If necessary, I will even do it myself. When Angus heard this, his face suddenly became solemn, and then he nodded slowly. Yes, President. Go down and arrange it. Angus slowly retreated after hearing this, turned around and disappeared in this mysterious palace. The president, who was sitting cross-legged in the middle of the palace, seemed to have countless truths flowing in his eyes, and he looked into the distance, as if he saw a distant place. What is the origin of this strange place? It is completely different from the 5 and 8 principles, but it seems to have some connection. What did the distant ancient gods create? Where did you go? Why did they all disappear? Only the mysterious miracle coin was left. Guide the future destiny. Slowly exhaling, the mysterious president fell into silent contemplation. A palace complex filled with infinite brilliance floated quietly in the void. Countless palaces are connected to each other, forming a wonderful formation, opening up a brilliant pure land in the void. At this time, in the center of this pure land, there is a fairy palace emitting colorful glass brilliance, and a wonderful king sits on one of the thrones. He has a white face, wears a golden dragon robe, on which 9 dragons are perched, wears a flat crown, and 12 divine lights flash behind him, with an infinite spirit that sweeps across the heavens. Below are a group of civil and military officials, either wearing armor or court clothes, and everyone stands with their hands down. Each has a different temperament, either yin or yang, or full of literary spirit, or with the talent of a dragon coiling and a tiger crouching. Outside the hall, Angus' figure appeared somewhere. His appearance immediately attracted the attention of the guards, and 2 tall gods stopped him. If someone was here at this time, they would find out. Angus was only as tall as the gods' legs, and everyone in this palace seemed to be tens of meters tall. A majestic voice burst out from the mouths of the 2 gods. The fairy palace temple, no outsiders are allowed to enter. Angus looked up at the 2 gods and said calmly, I am Angus, the vice president of the Void Fate Committee. If you have something to find the lord of the fairy palace, please inform me. Before the two gods could speak, a vague voice came from the hall. Let him in. Hearing this, the two gods instantly retreated to their original place and made way. Angus slowly floated up, crossed the tall threshold, and came to this huge fairy palace. His eyes saw the civil and military officials in the hall, as well as the Lord of the Asgard on the throne. Soon Angus came to the deepest part of the hall, looked at the Lord of the Asgard on the throne, and nodded slightly. Meet the Lord of the Asgard, the President has a mission, I hope you can go. The Lord of the Asgard, his face was shrouded in a hazy blur, it seemed to be changing at any time, that was the appearance of a celestial being, cannot be looked directly at. What mission? I need to do it myself. This time the exploration of the ancient ruins. The President hopes you can guard outside. The Lord of the Asgard could not see his expression clearly, he pondered for a while, and a wonderful power permeated from his body. This power seemed to penetrate time and space, exploring some unknown existence. After a long while, the power slowly disappeared. Indeed, there is a fog covering this incident. But it is so hazy that I can't see the truth clearly. Who else will go besides me? The Soul Master of the Soul Realm will also go there in person. I will go to the Soul Realm and inform the Soul Master later. Is it him? Okay, you go and reply to the President, I will go there in person. Angus nodded slightly, and a strange token that was neither gold nor iron appeared in his hand. The President's order has been delivered, so I'll take my leave. Looking at Angus's departing back, a civil official with a feather fan and a scarf and a starry sky on his head came out of the hall. Your Majesty, I just looked at the future with the supreme eye of heaven, and it seems that a thick fog has shrouded this exploration. I seem to have seen a trace of bloody disaster. It seems that there is someone behind this time. If you want to go out, Your Majesty may not be safe alone. The Lord of the Fairy Palace nodded slowly, the Prime Minister is right. Xiansifang Emperor, accompany me. If something really happens at that time, set up the 5 elements extinction sword formation, and make sure he has no way back. The Lord of the Fairy Palace spoke in a calm tone, but in fact he was murderous. At this time, after Angus left the Fairy Palace, he took out a wonderful crystal in his hand. The crystal was ethereal, as if it were a dream. He crushed the crystal, and the crystal turned into a hazy door. Looking at the gate, a trace of solemnity appeared in his eyes. A ray of pure white light came out of his body and turned into an illusory figure. He stepped into the gate and arrived at a mysterious place in the next moment. It was colorful here, filled with countless lights. Looking around, it seemed like a world made of bubbles. Countless figures flashed in the bubbles, which were illusory human figures. And among these countless bubbles, there was no lack of auras that could rival the level of the heavenly immortal Deo. Some even exceeded the heavenly immortal Deo by 10 or dozens of times. The violent power covered the sky and the sun, and seemed to be able to overturn everything. The terrifying fluctuations that went straight to the soul made any life that entered here feel that their souls were attracted. It seemed to be leaving their bodies and falling into countless bubble worlds. This is the soul realm, existing in the void, an inexplicable level. Legend has it that outside this bubble is the sea of souls, and the souls of all world groups will come here after death. In the infinite ocean, it turned into the most basic soul particles. Then when a life is born, some soul particles will flow into the body of that life to form a new soul. This place is also called the underworld, the final place of all the dead. However, it is not as described in some worlds. It is not pitch black, full of hell and countless weird souls. At least in this soul realm, it is not like this. At this time, Angus entered here with only a trace of soul will, and the physical body could not enter this level.